Hello, and welcome to the Simply Business Interview Podcast, a podcast created by business owners for business owners. I am your host, John Jennings. And I believe that most business owners are working way too hard for much too little. And one of our issues is that we overcomplexify things. I believe the answers are almost always within us or within our reach. I like to say that I'm a simple man with simple ideas. So welcome to Simply Business.
And basically, I'll start just introducing you and ask you to share a little of your background about, tell us about Tellenium. Okay, so start with that. Today, I'm joined by Shawn Veitz. Sorry, did I say that right? Veitz. Veitz?
Correct. Yep.
Veitz. That's good. Better. I should definitely pronounce your name right if we're going to do this. So let me start over. Today, I'm joined by Shawn. All right. Today, I'm joined by Shawn Veitz, who is the Chief Revenue Officer of Tellennium. Shawn, thanks for joining us. Why don't you kick us off by telling us a little about yourself and tell us what Tellenium does, what y'all do there.
Yeah, thanks, John. So a little bit about myself. So I'm obviously in sales, over sales department with Tellenium. Been in sales for, over a decade. But I'm a little unique in the fact that my background, I have a biblical and theological studies degree and a master's in pastoral counseling. So I was one of these individuals that came out of seminary and said, man, I could never be a salesman. But to pay my way through school, I started off as a help desk, answering phone calls. And I had a good leader that came to me and said, hey, Shawn, you should really consider coming over to the sales side. I told him my concerns. I saw every salesman as being a sleazy salesman and one that would lie. But he said, a good salesman's an honest salesman because that's someone that company will buy from again after you sell them one solution. And that made a lot of sense to me. So since then, I've kind of built my career on being a upfront, honest salesman. And I feel like that really sets myself apart, in an industry where, salesmen are kind of yes men, right? But when you gain the trust of a prospect or a client and you tell them no, that's outside of our capabilities, you really learn that they respect that. And so that's been part of my success. A little bit about Tellenium. So Tellenium is an IT SaaS company where we manage large corporations' expenses and particularly complex expenses. So talking about helping clients manage their telecom expenses, their utility expenses, IT SaaS license expenses, and cloud expenses is really what we focus on. And so we have a software that will automatically go collect these invoices, audit the invoices, cost allocate the invoices, and pay the invoices on behalf of our clients. So they never have to worry about a disconnection of a service or a late payment fee for one of those services. And then we layer on top consulting services to help them reduce spend with those services. So most of our customers, we're coming in with a savings guarantee saying, hey, not only are we going to automate all your expense management solution, we will save you more money than the cost of our services. So with that, we've experienced good growth over the last few years.
Awesome. And how long has Tellenium been in business?
We've actually been around since 1999. We created our platform, which we call Management of Things, in 2001. And we do enhancements to it about every 30, 45 days. So it's evolved
Right.
through the 25 plus years that we've been in business.
That's awesome. And so you've been leading it through past few years, and you were sharing with me earlier about the tremendous growth you've seen. So tell us a little bit about the growth you've seen. What do you think has really spurred that on? Because we're in this kind of post-pandemic period now, and it's interesting how spend has changed in organizations. So love to get your take on that.
Yeah, John. So I wish I could say that I was the reason for the success, but really it was due to all the work that Tellenium had done before I came on, and I just came on at a nice time that that allowed me to experience a lot of that success. But, I think Tellenium traditionally, the way that they grew was organic. It was word of mouth. The C-level left, brought them into another company that they came to. And Tellenium didn't know how good the product was that they really created. They didn't know how it competed against the competitors out there. And so that's some of the experience that I came with, is I had 15 plus years with competitors before coming over to Tellenium. And what attracted me to Tellenium was just how good and easy the platform was to use, and how good a service Tellenium was provided to the customers. When I came, Tellenium hadn't lost a customer in like the last 5 years. And to be able to say to a customer and say, hey, we haven't lost a customer, I mean, that's really industry leading, because our industry saw a lot of turnover, a lot of dissatisfaction from a lot of the competitors. So when I came in and was able to say, hey, here's why we're better, right? Here's why you're better than competitor XYZ. And then we really started to market that and bring that to the marketplace. It's really taken off. Prospects have seen the difference and they're experiencing it. And once you get a few good logos under and they start saying, hey, we're with Tellenium and we have great service and we're happy, it just starts, the floodgates just start to open. So, overall, we've been experiencing somewhere around 20 to 25% growth year over year, which has been fun to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your humility there, but obviously there's a timing aspect, but also there's a leadership aspect there. So tell me about how it's been, leading your organization through this, and what are some of the challenges that you've seen as a part of this transition?
So a little bit about our growth. When I came on, we were about 30 employees. Now we're about 80 employees. And so that's spanned over 3.5 years, that growth. And so naturally, as you experience that growth, it's finding the teams to support, right? Support the additional customers that are coming in, and making sure you don't grow too fast to be able to continue to provide excellent support. It's also ensuring that the business has efficiencies to handle the additional workloads, right? So now with our customers, it's not uncommon for a customer to have 20 plus million in spend that we're managing and thousands of invoices that we're managing every month. And so you can't just scale up and hire tons of people to take on this additional work. So we've had to find automation. So we use a lot of automation in our product set, build that in where, needs kind of driving that. But from a leadership perspective, especially on the sales side, we've had to be strategic that we don't grow too fast, that we allow the business to grow at a good pace, but that operations can keep up and support. So for me, that has meant that I handle a lot of the new logo sales. I'm not going out hiring additional salesmen, even though I could, and we could grow even faster if we wanted to in that front. But it's like, hey, we need to limit our growth and limit how many customers we're bringing on, and be very strategic on which customers we bring in. In the sales process, it's easy to say yes to a lot of things like, hey, can you do this? And it's like, well, that's not our core competency, but yes, we could. And I've really had to limit saying, here's our core competency, here's what we're going to stick to, and we're going to shed the deals that are not, key within our core competencies.
Yeah, that takes a lot of maturity and confidence. So many people in small businesses want to say yes to everything because they focus so much on the almighty dollar, right? They focus on revenue without thinking of, oh wow, if we go down that rabbit hole, thinking about the other investments, what that's going to do to us, how that's going to change our structure, how that's fundamentally going to change the culture and nature of our agency and that sort of thing. So it shows a lot of maturity and character from that standpoint. How do you maintain that? Is it a constant reminder? Are there sometimes these conflicts where you go, yeah, maybe we can go that way a little bit? Love just kind of peek inside your brain there for a second as these opportunities come about.
Yeah, so I would really it's surrounding yourself with a good team. We have a great leadership team at Tellenium, between my VP of Technical Services, Todd, my VP of Invoice Management, Matt, and my CEO, Greg. Our executive team, we get along very well, but we always joke that Matt's the no sayer, right? When he comes in, he's like, no, like we don't do that, right? Whereas myself, I'm probably like, yeah, we could probably do that.
Right.
Right. But it's coming together within that and saying, okay, what is the industry driving? Are we seeing this requirement just from this customer or for multiple customers? And then developing a roadmap for our product and product set to be able to support that. So, that's been really key, right? Because if it's just me making the decisions, I'm like, hey, let's go sell. Yes.
Right.
Do that. And if it was just Matt out there, he'd probably be like, no, and we would never evolve as a business within there. So, it's really bringing our mindsets together and saying, okay, this is what makes sense. I'm not going to sell past, what I know Matt and the invoice management team can do. And he's also good at coming over and saying, hey, Shawn, I think we can take on these different spend categories or whatever. I think we have that capability now.
Yeah, I sometimes say that every good salesperson like yourself needs a CO no or a CF no. Yeah, so that person who will say, "Oh no, we're not going there." That's a good balance. So what have been some of the growing pains? I mean, 30 to 80, that's almost triple. See, I can even do math after all these years, so it's almost triple. So that's got to bring some culture challenges, other things. What are some of those
the
challenges?
people aspect's definitely the hardest, right? Especially coming out of COVID, there was a shortage of people, of resources within there, and we had to hire about 2 people to keep one individual on, because people, not that they didn't like Tellenium, they would literally accept the job offer and then on the first day quit because they got a better job offer.
Right.
And we experienced a lot of that through the growth. And so just HR was continually working to get the right resources in the seat within there. We had to make some unique changes because we grew so fast. We outgrew our office. We had a facility in Mount Washington. And so then we went to a hybrid model where we were half in the office, half out of the office, and people, the days that they were in. And now we just totally went remote. Everyone, because it's like either we're going to buy additional office space or not. So you've had growing pains with that. You've also had this growing pains where people who are not who are ready but had never been in a management position were now stepping into management positions. So the training of that and just the fast pace of, hey, we're growing, so we have to make sure we train while still continue to support our job functions that we always did. And thankfully, we have a great team that's really stepped up to the plate. You hear a lot of times where like, man, I don't know how we can take on any more. And then you show them the stats of next quarter and said, you guys did 20% more, 20% more invoices, 20% more, XYZ, you guys did it. You found the efficiencies that we needed within that. And so it's great to be able to see the team do that.
Very cool. Wave a magic wand for me and say, where do you think Tellenium's going in the next year or so? What's on the horizon?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously continued growth, right? That's why I was brought here from the CEO, is continue to grow. So we continue to want to grow 25%. We have our goals to lose 0 customers. As we grow that, we also have goals of how many takeaways, customer takeaways or competitive takeaways we're going to take within that, and how much new greenfield. But some of the areas that we're really growing in, that we're seeing the fastest growth in, is utility expense management. There has recently been regulations that have come down to companies trading on NASDAQ that require sustainability reporting, and that has driven a lot of growth within our utility expense management timeframe. So,
Okay.
continuing to ramp that up. The unique thing, and I shouldn't say ramp it up, we've been doing it for 7, 8, 9 years now on the utility side, but just being able to put more automation in place around those, because utility, it's not uncommon for organizations to receive 2,000-3,000 gas, electric, water invoices a month, and to be able to support that workload. So we have a lot of automation that goes into place with that. So we'll continue to grow that. I don't see us changing a whole lot of our dynamic, because why change when you're having success and growing at
Right.
25%, right? So we're going to keep doing what we're doing and just excel and provide good customer support.
So how do y'all determine where you're going next? How do you stay fresh and relevant, and what drives the new ventures and new approaches?
That is being driven. So about 5 years ago, we remarketed our platform. It used to be called TIMS, Tellenium's Integrated Management System, and we rebranded it to Management of Things. And that's really been driven by the industry, because we started off as a telecom consulting company. We provided telecom services, and a customer came to us and said, "Hey, I just have too many telecom invoices. Can you help us process it?" So we created our solution. And then we had customers that said, "Hey, you've automated our telecom. Can you manage all of our mobile devices that are attached to employees, and as employees come and go?" And we said, "Yeah, we can manage that. That's part of telecom." And so we connected in with the HR system. And then we had customers come to us and say, "Hey, you've managed our telecom. Can you do utilities?" And we said, "Yeah, we can do utilities." And we took that on. And then we had customers that say, "Hey, our telecom is now UCaaS, that's IT SaaS licensing. We need to manage these licenses to these employees." And we said, "Yeah, we can manage IT SaaS licensing." So that's how our platforms evolve, right? Through these customer requests and saying, "Hey, we already have the technology. It's just taking on this additional invoice type and applying it." So we rebranded about 4 years ago, I guess, to Management of Things platform. And that's really set us apart in the industry, because right now you have telecom expense management companies, you have utility expense management companies, but you don't have many companies that can say, "Hey, any type of complex expense, whether it be IT SaaS licensing, we can come in and manage that." So that's helped us with our growth. So to answer your question, John, really it's driven by our customers and what
Right.
That's
a great answer. In fact, I think too many entrepreneurs take the other approach. They try to drive change without regard of what their clients are really looking for. So it sounds like you're taking those requests and going, "Yeah, not that one, but yes on that one."
Yeah, I'm a big believer in let's make sure that we have the revenue to support the change before we just go make the change hoping the revenue will follow after that, right?
Yeah. And I would assume it's a little bit different topic, but I would assume that AI is going to you're probably using AI, or if not, you're on the verge of it. It's got to have an impact.
AI has changed everything for our business, from just my sales process. We talked a little bit about, we get these requests for proposals. They may be 150 questions long. Now I have software, I can stick it in and automatically complete the RFP for me with a setting that preloaded into the database. We're utilizing it in our platform a couple of ways. One, just on development, we can have AI write code. We could also have AI check code, right? We have I think last time I remember, our developers like 6 million lines of code in our product, right?
Yeah.
So very extensive, and everything's connected in our platform. You change this piece, it affects it up here. So being able to use AI to double check, hey, is this going to impact anything else in the platform, can help you bring out releases quicker. We're also utilizing it when we get our customer data in, like contracts, we can utilize AI to pull out key terms of the contracts to audit the invoices off of. And we can also utilize it as to analyze data quickly for us. We can tell it exactly what we want to find in something, and boom, it'll find it for us. We don't need to skim through that data set. for that. So, those are ways that we're utilizing it right now. We want to, just as we evolve our product, really have that type of AI, like talk about reporting. I want a report that shows me X, Y, Z, and boom, it produces that report. So that's what we're working on right now. We're not there. We're still in the filter, drop columns in, of building reports within that. But, I think we're only a little bit away from that. Tell me exactly what you want and boom, I'll get it for you and produce it. So.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks so much for your time today. This has been fascinating. I love learning about what different businesses are doing to solve problems. You guys are solving a real world one for businesses, which is really cool. So it's great meeting you. Love to also, give you a chance to tell people how to connect with you, how to find you if they want to maybe pursue talking to you about their company. So give us your contact information.
So the easiest way is tellenium.com, right? Fill out the contact us. I'll be the one probably reaching out to you from there, or one of my colleagues will within that. You can, that's probably the easiest way. You can connect with me just on a personal level on LinkedIn, Shawn Veitz, ShawnVeitz on there. But John, thank you so much for the opportunity to explain what we're doing at Tellenium.
Yeah, appreciate hearing about your story, and wish you guys the best of success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shawn.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked it, please share or like it on whatever platform you use. You can find me on social media. On most platforms, I'm John K. Jennings. My first book is also available. Your Baby is Ugly tells you about 10 truths that business owners need to hear, but often won't, and how to overcome them. You can find it on Amazon. Just search for Your Baby is Ugly. And be watching for our next episode, where I'll interview another business owner who will share their stories and insights into what it's like to create a great business.